There was this guy in my friend group of about 6 of us, I think, and he would make fun of me all the time. Make fun of the things I was most insecure about, that I was socially awkward, that I was out of shape. But he could never be wrong, because whenever I said something he didn't like, he would just basically take the piss out of me in front of everyone, get everyone to laugh at me, make me feel terrible. And so what I learned is that he was a pretty shit friend. I learned that pretty slowly. It took me half a year at least. But eventually, I started to make some better friends. And I started to be treated differently. Because there was a lot of people who did this to me over the course of time. But the time, like when I noticed the biggest change, was after I did something really specifically. Because I'd gone on holidays and I'd really wanted to change my social life. I really wanted to be out there again, meeting a lot of people. And so I did something specific. The thing that I started to do was put Instagram stories whenever I was with other people. Something I learned very, very quickly was that the teenage mind was very simple. Because people around me, they treated me so differently so quickly when they saw on my Instagram page I was with a couple of mates, I was at this party, I was with these girls, whatever it was. The more stories I started to put up, the more different people would treat me. And I felt like I'd come to pretty significant discovery that all I had to do was stop posting Instagram stories of me socially. And people started to treat me really nice. In fact, a lot of people used to make fun of me all the time, but they hardly do anymore. You know, I'm sure that some of those reasons are due to this Instagram thing and some of those reasons aren't. But I think it's one of the biggest changing things to the way I'm treated is that when I started putting those Instagram stories up, and I really recommend you should too. Now, bro, if you like the video, you like the tips, whatever, you can go subscribe if you want to, click the button on that. But I want to share a big habit that helped me change, because not only was posting on Instagram really important, but I feel like how happy I was, how hardworking I was just as, probably more important. Like, the happier I was, the more social I would end up being, and it was like this constant feedback loop. So one of the biggest things I wanted to share with you is how I stopped eating so much junk food, how I started sleeping better. There was this one trick that I learned, and I'm not exactly sure how I learned about it. I just slowly over life started putting these things together. I realized that, for example, there was this time where I was eating a lot of junk food, and I would go out, I was out all the time over the weekends, and I was always in a supermarket, blah, 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 right? The thing that I noticed is that when every week I started to meal prep, so cook some beef, and I'd basically get a couple of kilos of beef and bring it in and put it in the fridge. And over the week, whenever I got hungry, I would eat that. I would make sure that I was always stuffed full. And so basically something that the people around me do is at about 9 p.m., they bring out a sugary snack and everybody eats it. But what I would do is at 7:30, 8, eat so much that I was full, that when that snack was coming out, the unhealthy thing that I didn't want to eat, that made me feel horrible, that made me feel slow in the mind, disgusting, I was too full from eating all that beef that I don't think I possibly could have fit that bullshit junk food in. I lost the desire for the junk food because I was so filled up. Something similar happened with video games, I'm pretty sure. I think what happened was, it's a different example, but basically, I used to play video games all the time. Then one day my dad completely took all video games away. He just took my laptop, took my PC. I had nothing to do all summer. So what I would do, since I couldn't play video games, I would just go to the gym all the time. I would just play basketball a lot, I didn't get consistent or anything until a little bit later, learned some good techniques. But this was when I was really young. Quitting video games, I would just go play basketball all day, every day, and I started to become really happy. And that's when I learned something. If you're really struggling with something, you can just make it so difficult to access that you don't really use it anymore. Junk food. I started eating so much other food that it was hard to really want any more junk food. I started when I was addicted to video games. My dad just ripped away the fucking PC. You can do that too. You can just delete all your video games, delete your Steam account, delete your iPhone apps, get rid of your iPhone, sell it, get a Nokia, I don't know. Whatever your problem is, you can kind of just completely get rid of your desire for the problem. Or you can just get rid of the problem in the first place. For example, the PC. If you just get rid of your PC, you're not going to be addicted to video games because you're not going to have a possibility to play it. There was this guy I was talking to who was addicted to like Formula One drive or some fucking stupid car game that he was addicted to. I don't know, I think he might subscribe to me. I'm pretty sure he was one of my followers who reached out. Oh yeah, my Instagram will be in the link. That's how he reached out to me. I gave him some advice. But basically, he said he was addicted to video games and he thinks that's why it's hard for him to get out of his shell and meet new people. And I said, well, if you're really serious, even though you spend money on this game, just delete it. Just delete your account permanently. And he said he didn't want to do it. No disrespect to him, but I don't think it's a coincidence that he's still addicted to video games. Because he doesn't have the balls, respectfully, he doesn't have the balls to delete his account. And you know what? That's not necessarily the wrong decision. But it's the wrong decision if you really wanted to quit video games. Because sometimes you got to make that sacrifice. I wanted to share something, finally, that I've been really thinking about lately. And it's how people didn't really treat me as well. I'm not like super jacked yet or anything, but I put on a decent bit of muscle. I'm a lot taller. I'm a lot more sociable. If somebody makes fun of me, occasionally I have some really good wit and I can make some really good comebacks. Well, basically the point that I'm making is I feel like I've developed a shit ton as a person. I know I have. And only recently have I been treated super well by anyone. There was times before where a lot of people would always treat me well, but in my school specifically, there's a lot of disrespectful people and not everyone was nice to me. But that's really changed, and I was starting to think, what's changed? Like, the main thing that's changed is I've become more successful. I'm in better physical shape, I'm better socially, I'm better in every aspect. And I realized something that, like, I was listening to some YouTube video. Honestly, I think the way that so many people treat you is based on how many accomplishments you have. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if there's this huge, like, 6'5" kickboxer or something along those lines, and they're walking past me, and I can see, or like for example, if Mike Tyson was walking past you, would you be a dickhead to him? Because I wouldn't, bro. I'd be fucking terrified. It's Mike Tyson, you know, he's a fighter. And so I've learned, I think I've changed my belief system. People really only treat you as well as you are built. And I think it's really important to build yourself up as high as you possibly can. Because honestly, not being treated well and respected in life would suck. And I wouldn't ever be able to go back to how I was treated or how I viewed myself in the past. Thank you for watching this video, bro. Go subscribe, go follow my Insta. Thanks for watching, mate. Have a great day.